Okay, welcome to another video. This is a new video concept, and we're going to go over the Danbury Mint model of Jacobs Field. Danbury Mint made models of many stadiums over the years. They haven't for quite some time now, but you'd be surprised how detailed these are. And I'm going to go through the history of the ballpark and show you the changes made over the years through this model right here. So, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so Jacobs Field opened in 1994 at a capacity of around 43,000. Now, when this opened, it was quite a big deal because it was just the second of the retro ballparks to open just after Camden Yards did in 1992. And they would have a lot of steel showing on the exterior of the stadium as sort of a tribute to the architecture of Cleveland. And this was part of the idea behind retro ballparks, incorporating the surrounding area into the stadium, kind of like how the B&O warehouse is incorporated into Camden Yards. So in the deepest part, just right here, would be 400 feet deep, and in the corners would be the shortest at 325 feet on both sides. Right here on the corner, we have the team headquarters and offices, along with the team shop, which is on the first floor to the far right. To the left of it, there were many ticket booths in the past, but those, I believe, are in the process of being removed. Now, how you can tell that this is not the ballpark from when it originally opened is because in the 96-97 off-season, these two sections right here and right there on the edges of the bleachers were added due to the fact that the team, beginning in 1995, would start their 455 game sellout streak. Every game from mid-95 to opening day of 2001 was sold out, so it only made sense to add more seats if they could, and adding these sections definitely has paid for itself many times over. Now, in addition to those bleacher seats being added, they would add these two sections right here down the middle during the 1995 playoffs. And with so many tickets being sold and entire seasons being sold out before the season would even begin, these seats, which were originally just temporary seating for the 95 playoffs, would become permanent seating and add a few hundred seats to the capacity of the ballpark. And those would stay in place until the 1999 playoffs, until they were finally taken down. Even though 2000 was completely sold out, the demand was probably softening by that point, and those sections would be removed for 2000. Now, taking you down the middle here, you would have the original batter's eye, which was just a gathering area with trees, and you can see the little picnic tables in there. They were only open before and I believe after games, particularly for groups, I think. And they would get rid of this in the 2006-2007 off-season, where they would replace it with Heritage Park, which is still there today and is an outdoor hall of fame for the franchise. Now, two of the most famous home runs to ever occur at this ballpark would happen in its earlier years, one being by Mark McGwire when he would hit a ball right into this Budweiser sign right about there at a high rate of speed. And to put it into perspective, most home runs are usually right around here in the lower rows. This one slammed basically into that Budweiser sign, which would kind of lend a hint to what everybody kind of suspected about Mark McGwire, which he would later admit to in later years. Now, the second of the two was the longest in the history of the ballpark. It was hit by Jim Thome in 1999, and it would hit just right about here at the very edge of the fence of the ballpark. There's even a marker you can see there on the right, which was one of many memories in the prime of this ballpark's life. Now, here we have the original entrance to the ballpark. This would be the ballpark's kind of main entrance, really, from its opening until the renovations that would occur in 2014. And what you have here is the Bob Feller statue, which was the only statue at the stadium for a pretty long time. The Who's On First, that is still at the stadium. It's across the street now. And you have the ticket booths, and then the line and queuing to get in would be right there. And when they demolished all of this as part of the renovation, they would really open the ballpark up, and really basically everything here would get taken out and turned into a new entrance, which was quite an improvement really, because before it was really just limited to that small area to get in on this side of the ballpark. Now, after the temporary bleachers were removed, in the mid-2000s, what would become the batter's eye bar would be put in their place, and that would be kept there until the renovation in 2014 would also take that out, along with the sky bridge you see right there and the rest of the entrance. Now here you can see where the original bullpens were, right here and right over there. They would be there until the renovation, when they would be moved basically where seats used to be right here. They would put the bullpens over where the seats were, and there's really only like 1 or 2 rows left right here, the front rows of that section. Aside from that, they would totally chop off the front of this mezzanine section, and if you look at it today, it's much shorter than it used to be. I guess they got rid of that to improve the views from below, but they really took out a fair amount of decent seats when they did that. More seats would be taken out as well in the corner right there when they would build the corner bar, which is a very nice redo of the batter's eye bar instead of right down the middle. The batter's eye could not seat that many people. This corner bar holds a lot of people. It's pretty good, and a lot of the seats have been replaced with drink rails. You know, this ballpark's capacity was reduced by about 8,000 when the renovation occurred. Now, the scoreboard would originally just be this small black section here, but today it covers the entire board end to end and is one of the largest in Major League Baseball. Now, one of the elements that's kind of been this ballpark's undoing is the fact that it had so many luxury boxes and multiple levels of it. Now, this worked out very well when the stadium was a very popular place to be and every game was being sold out. But over time, they just became a liability. There were a lot more than were needed, and they would just start to sort of combine them and repurpose them. The downside of this, especially when the demand stopped for these luxury boxes, is that the upper deck would end up being about 10 or 12 feet higher than I believe most other ballparks. Now for 2015, basically this entire group of sections under the overhang and the walls there were completely like blown out and turned into the home plate club, which was just for season ticket holders. Here you also have the Terrace Club restaurant, which is currently in the process of being replaced and turned into an outdoor area. It looks like it'll probably be fairly nice, but it is quite sad to see what was once a very popular and elegant part of the stadium being dismantled. Now, another major part of the seat reduction and renovation that would occur in 2014 would be the addition of the shipping containers, which were just standing platforms that would be put on all of these sections except for the lower part. There was really nothing about them or nothing to them. They thought they were going to basically be group sections, and it just never took off. Just this past off season, the entire thing was taken out and the whole concrete of these sections was completely taken out, and now this is just a standing area, and they did add a few more seats back in the corner there. And a more recent change as well is the removal of these sections here in left field. Those are no longer there and are now just a standing area. And lastly, I just want to mention the green seats, which are original to the stadium, are all currently in the process of being replaced with all blue. So the stadium is in line for quite a different look than it's had in the past. Those are some of the changes that have occurred over the years. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching.